When I look back at my life, I realize that fluency in English didn't come from talent, luck, or expensive courses. It came from one small habit done every single day without fail. But this story didn't begin with success. It began with embarrassment. I still remember the first time I tried to speak English in public. My voice trembled. My hands shook. I was in my school classroom, and the teacher had asked everyone to introduce themselves in English. When my turn came, I stood up heart pounding and said, my name is, My classmates laughed. The teacher smiled kindly, but the laughter was louder than her comfort. That day, something broke inside me. For weeks, I avoided speaking in English. I convinced myself that English was not for me, it was for others, the smart ones, the rich ones. But deep inside, I knew the truth. I was afraid of being judged. Days turned into months, and my fear grew. Whenever someone spoke English fluently, I felt small, invisible. I would nod and pretend to understand, but my heart whispered, I wish I could speak like that. One evening, I came home after another embarrassing day at college. I had tried to talk to a foreign visitor during a seminar, and all I managed to say was, Hello, nice to meet you. He smiled politely, but I felt miserable. That night, I stared at my reflection and whispered, When will I speak English confidently? That question changed my life. I realized that waiting wouldn't help me. Dreaming wouldn't make me fluent. I needed action, not for one day, not for one week, but every single day. So I made a promise to myself. From today, I will do just one thing in English every day, no excuses. That was my first step into consistency. On the first day, I read just one page of an English book. On the second day, I watched a 5-minute YouTube video in English. On the third day, I wrote 5 sentences about my day in a notebook. And on the fourth day, I repeated all 3. It didn't look like much, but within a month, I started noticing small changes. I began to understand movie dialogues more clearly. I started using new words naturally, and most importantly, my fear started to fade. Consistency was doing what motivation couldn't. Motivation pushed me to start, but consistency made sure I never stopped. There were days when I didn't feel like studying, days when I felt tired, bored, or hopeless. But I remembered my promise, one thing a day. Even if I was sick or busy, I would at least read one English quote or listen to one English sentence, and slowly, that one habit became my identity. People started noticing. My friends would say, You sound different these days. My teacher once said, Your pronunciation has improved. Each compliment felt like a spark that kept the fire burning. I didn't realize it then, but consistency was rewiring my brain. My thoughts, once translated from my native language, began forming directly in English. I wasn't just learning English, I was becoming English in the way I spoke, thought, and expressed. But success never comes without challenges. There was a time when I almost quit. After 6 months of daily practice, I took part in an English speech competition. I prepared for days, memorized everything, and stepped on stage. But halfway through my speech, my mind went blank. I froze. The same old fear returned. My audience waited in silence. I smiled weakly and left stage. That night I cried. All my hard work felt wasted. I wanted to quit and tell myself, maybe English just isn't for me. But then something changed. The next morning, I remembered the habit, one small thing a day. So, instead of quitting, I recorded myself speaking English for just 1 minute. It wasn't perfect, but it was progress. And that's when I learned the truth. Consistency is not about never failing. It's about never stopping. After that, everything changed. I stopped chasing perfection and started chasing effort. Every mistake became a teacher. Every failure became fuel. I created a daily routine that became my best friend. Morning, listen to an English podcast. Afternoon, write 10 sentences in English. Night, talk to myself in English for 5 minutes before sleeping. I even started labeling objects around my room: door, mirror, window, bottle. Every label was a small step toward fluency. Weeks turned into months. Months turned into a year. And one day, something magical happened. I was walking home when a tourist stopped me and asked, "Excuse me, can you tell me where the bus station is?" Without thinking, I replied, "Yeah, sure. Just go straight and turn right at the second signal. You'll see it on your left." The words flowed naturally, no fear, no hesitation. I walked away smiling. That small conversation was proof of one big truth. I had become fluent. But more than fluency, I had gained something greater: confidence. I realized that consistency had changed not just my English, but my mindset. It had taught me patience, discipline, and belief. When people now ask me, "How did you become fluent in English?" I don't talk about books or courses. I just say, I did one small thing every single day and never missed a day. Consistency turned my weakness into strength. It turned my fear into power. It turned my dream into reality. And that's what I want you to understand today. You don't need a perfect accent. You don't need expensive classes. You don't need to study for hours. You just need to start and keep going. Read one page. Speak one sentence. Listen to 1 minute of English audio. Do it every day. Don't wait for the perfect time, because the perfect time never comes. What matters is today. If you're watching this, this is your sign to start. One day, you look back and realize that the small things you did every day were never small. They were bricks that built your future. Fluency isn't a destination. It's a journey made of daily steps, daily struggles, and daily victories. And that's the real power of consistency. It transforms ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. It makes the impossible possible. So, my friend, promise yourself today that no matter how busy, tired, or scared you are, you will keep taking that one small step every single day, because the day you stop waiting and start acting, that's the day your English, your confidence, and your life will begin to change forever. This was my story, not of talent, not of luck, but of consistency. And maybe it can be your story too. Start small, stay consistent, and one day you'll be fluent not just in English, but in confidence, courage, and success. This is the motivation chapters, reminding you dreams don't work unless you do.